What's up, fight fans? Thank you as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. All right, very quick video. He says, is Billy Joe Saunders set to appear on the undercard of Frampton versus Warrington? I think so, possibly anyway. He tweeted out recently something along the lines of, if the fans want to see me fight in December, let me know. It's all down to the fans. I read a few of the responses and it seemed unanimous. The fans want to see him fight. Remember, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't had a fight since David Lemieux, which was about a year ago. So he's been out of the ring for a year. He's had a number of pullouts, a number of fights have been cancelled due to injuries. Remember, he's supposed to have 2 fights against Martin Murray. Those were cancelled. And then obviously this issue with Demetrius Andrade. We're not going to talk about the PED stuff and all that for now. I've done so many videos on that. But I guess the interesting thing is this pay-per-view event. Remember, Warrington versus Frampton is going head-to-head with Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora. It's going to lose. There's no two ways about it. Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte will just be the bigger draw for the casual fans. But I guess to compete with it, Frank Warren's got to bring out the big guns, right? And Billy Joe Saunders is one of these big guns. I don't know if Billy Joe Saunders is a big draw. I don't know what he can add in terms of pay-per-view numbers, but I'm sure it's a few thousand. A few thousand people, I think, will tune in and pay their money to see Billy Joe Saunders fight, especially if they can get a half-decent name. We are what? 7-8 weeks away from December 22nd. It's enough time to get a good opponent if Billy Joe Saunders does fight. Let's briefly talk about his PED situation. I know I said I wouldn't touch on it, but I think it is quite relevant when we are talking about him fighting again. Now, we do know that WBO released a statement saying they suspended Billy Joe Saunders for 6 months. Let's kind of understand what that means. That doesn't mean he can't fight in the UK. Remember, UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control didn't have any issue with what Billy Joe Saunders did in the lead up to getting this PD suspension. They're okay. They have no problem with it whatsoever. So Billy Joe Saunders is okay to fight in the UK. It's outside of the UK and fighting for the WBO where there might be a problem. In terms of fighting in the UK, not a problem at all. So he can fight on the card. What impact do you think Billy Joe Saunders will have on the Frampton versus Warrington card? Do you think it's enough to compete with the Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora card? Remember, we don't know the undercard yet for Chisora Whyte, but surely having Billy Joe Saunders on that card is a big thing. And I think Frank Warren needs to do everything he can do to stack this card right now to compete with that one. There's no two ways about it. Dillian Whyte versus Chisora is going to chop into the pay-per-view numbers of Warrington Frampton. It's going to happen. You either buy Warrington Frampton or you buy Chisora Whyte. I don't think people are going to buy both, right? So this is going to be an issue. So I think putting Billy Joe Saunders on there, maybe even chucking in the likes of Daniel Dubois and Anthony Yard might help. I don't know how much help, but it might help nonetheless. But for Billy Joe Saunders, it's not about that. It's just about getting in the ring, putting the horrible last 11 months behind you and fighting. That's what you do. That's what you get paid to do. You don't get paid to fucking throw chicken in Nando's. You don't get paid to tell crackheads to punch people in the face. You don't get paid for anything else. You get paid for fighting and you get paid to being in the ring. For me personally, I do find it weird being able to fight in the UK and not in the US or not for the WBO. It shows that all the governing bodies are not in sync, and that's, I guess, a bigger problem and another conversation about boxing. But in terms of Billy Joe Saunders just fighting, I want to see him fight again. I do want to see him get on the straight and narrow. And I think the best place for him, almost like Tyson Fury really, is in the ring. So I think it'll be a good addition to the card. And look, I look forward to seeing who, if it does happen anyway, I look forward to seeing what opponents they kind of bring up. Because 7 weeks is okay notice, but it's not okay notice for a world level opponent.